Hey, good morning there, fellow fantasy football freaks. Welcome back to the Fantasy Armchair, and welcome back to your Tinker Stinker Power Hour. Yeah, we're week one, round one for most of you of the playoffs starting this week. Some of you are actually still vying for a playoff position. Either way, I'm going to help you out, help you crush your league, and get that championship. Yeah, because it's that time of year, that very special time of year, ain't it? Yeah. Yeah, I know. We got another special time of year repping out back here. I'm a Christmas guy. I'm a Santa guy. Look, I got the belly for it. I just got to get older, get the gray, white hair going in. I'll be a mall Santa one of these days. The Santa TyRant. Anyway, good to see you all rolling in here. We're gonna do the usual, warm up, let everyone come on in and get settled in before we start answering the questions. But of course, if you got some greetings, if you got some things to say, what's ups, go ahead and put them down there in the comments. We're going to get started here, as soon as we do the usual ceremonial shit. And, hopefully y'all are having a good holiday season so far, still a couple weeks away for the big day, so to speak. So anyway, just rolling in here. What do we got, Matt? Good morning, TyRant Gang. Cheers and happy 420 Cupcake OG here in Dallas. Well, Matt, since you brought it up, and good morning to you, my good sir. This week for the show, joining us on the show, we're lighting up. This is called Flex Panther. Flex Panther. Are we going to be flexing any Panthers this week? I don't know. If it's in the questions, maybe we'll find out. Flex Panther. Yeah. I wonder if it's anything like Cheetah Piss. Flex Panther. It's just a weird name. That's kind of why I picked it, because like a Flex Panther. And I can make a stupid, like, Flexing Panthers football joke. There you go. It writes itself. So anyway, good morning to you, sir. Enjoy your cupcake. I got my Flex Panther going on. Nick, good morning. Hashtag TyRant Gang. Good to see you, my friend. Flex Panther, huh? Never heard of it, but it sounds awesome. I don't know. I never heard of it either, but we'll see. I'll let you know how it is. Has a decent flavor profile. I'll give it that. Got some questions rolling in here, and we'll get to those here in just a minute. Yeah. So anyway, we'll get our morning pour going on, and then we'll just get right in. This is a Q&A edition, so get your questions in. If you know some other people who could definitely use some help. I know, Matt, you mentioned there was a friend of yours that wanted to come on last week, but unfortunately last week, I had a stomach issue. And rather than doing the Tinker Stinker, well, I'm doing my stinker, I thought I'd spare you all some toilet time and just to answer your questions. But, glad I could be back. Sorry, I missed out last week, but hey, I'm here. I'm here for you. So anyway, get your friends, get your family, get everyone up in here. I'm ready to fucking answer questions like a machine. So while we're waiting for those questions to roll in, I'm going to do the morning pour, and then we'll get started. So far, so good on the Flex Panther. Of course, because 'tis the season, we're going to continue to roll with the Ninkasi Slayer. Yeah. I don't like that they have a new, like, non-Slayerish design. Now it's all like, we're a serious company. But they're still going to call it Slayer. We all know what that is. Slayer. Fuck yeah. Represent. Anyway, so here we go. The morning pour. First beer of the day. Probably can't even hear shit on it. I don't care. You get it. You get the point. So, hey, for those of you watching, it's probably because you're either in the playoffs or have a push for it. So here you go. Here's the playoff push. Let's make it through that first round or make it into the playoffs, all right? Hey, cheers to you. Yeah, good shit. Hold on. Someone's asking for a link. Bear with me here as I give this guy the link. There's all these other people. I'm on the link. So I put up a link on my main page. Just click on that. It's not that hard. It's all right. It's okay. You want it directly from me? You love me that much? Let's do it. Why not? Anyway, we'll see who else rolls up in here. But let's get on over here. And a huge F you to Kyle Pitts. All right. Excuse me. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so I'm like in a league where, I'm in a couple leagues where I'm facing the same guy, and he's got Kyle Pitts in both leagues, and he played them both, against me. And so in 2 different leagues, I'm already behind this guy. Bro, you're back. Where have you been? I mean, I was only out 1 week. Damn. Anyway, we're going to get to the questions in order here. Let's start at the top. At Jordan Love 1283. Hey, I didn't know Jordan Love played fantasy football. Sweet. And he watches my show. Nice. What's up, man? How's it going, my dude? PPR wide receiver 2 and flex Watson, Michael Wilson, DK Pittman, and Sutton, and tight end between Kincaid and Johnson. Hold on. PPR wide receiver 2 and flex. So we're picking basically 2 out of Watson, Wilson, DK, Pittman, and Sutton. All right. Sure. Fair enough. And tight end between Kincaid and Johnson. Let's answer the easier question first. Let's go with Dalton Kincaid over Johnson. I think that Juwan Johnson, like at first when like Shuck came back in, he was throwing a lot more to Johnson. But now that Shuck has been become more acclimated, I guess, to that offense and comfortable with his receivers, he's been throwing more to them and less to Johnson. So I'm going to go Kincaid. He's been kind of the main target. It's been like him and Khalil Shakir for Josh Allen. So, yeah, I like Kincaid this week. And then as far as your PPR wide receiver 2 and flex options there, I am worried about the Michael Wilson matchup against Stingley. The only thing is, like, who the fuck else is he going to throw to? Dortch is out. Harrison's out. So, he's got to throw somewhere. And yeah, I know Stingley's probably going to have a game. Let's be serious here. But I still think that, Michael Wilson's going to get enough of the attention there to warrant still starting, even in a bad matchup like that. He's just going to get peppered with enough targets because there just isn't anyone else to throw to there. Everybody's out. You got it. Like they say, like the number one ability in football is availability. So, I know it's like cliche, but it's the truth. If you're there, if you're out there, you're going to have opportunities. So I can't, despite that matchup, but you really only have 2 to choose from. So let's first of all, Sutton, I don't think is a good matchup. In fact, I think that Troy Franklin could have a better game than Sutton on this one. I think they're going to be keying in on him, and that it's going to free up Franklin, especially with Pat Bryant being out. And that, Jesus Christ, mass exodus. What? I'm giving the advice. What do you want here? No, I'm just kidding. Just a bunch of people left at once. It's funny. It's all right. People come back. So anyway, what was I looking at here? What is going on? This is a terrible chart. Sorry, I'm having what? Weird. Trying to pull up information here. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. So Trent Sherfield, I think, is like the only other like option basically. So yeah, I mean, I think Michael Wilson's a good option there. So Sutton, yeah, like I said, I don't like his matchup this week. Pittman with Rivers out there, honestly, that could be that's a good option. DK. So you might actually be able to afford to sit Wilson, I guess is my point. So let me take a look at a couple things here. Oh, good Lord. Sorry. Oh, quiet you. All right. It's been so inconsistent for DK. And he's having an abdomen issue. He might be out there. You know, he's missed, some practice time this week. It's been, uh, he was a full participant in Thursday's practice. So, I'm not so worried about the injury risk there, or like, him having a setback or the injury really causing an issue for him. I think it's more that you have so many other options there that might actually be better. So let's take a look. First of all, Christian Watson. See, it's going against that. I don't know. I don't like that matchup. I think that's going to be a really low scoring game. I think it's going to be more kind of like a defensive on the ground game. So let's eliminate Watson. Michael Wilson, we'll come back to him. DK, not such. It's really between Michael Wilson, DK, and Pittman. I'm kind of leaning Pittman and Wilson. But if you're really afraid of that, like, the Wilson getting blanketed by Stingley, then I'd probably go DK Pittman. But I just think that there's just like nothing going on. There's like no, I mean, of course, Trey McBride's going to get his. But then who else? He can't just throw only to Trey McBride. And he can't avoid Wilson, even though Stingley's going to be on him. I just because of lack of other people in there, I think I like Michael Wilson in there this week. I would go Wilson Pittman. If you're afraid of that and you want to go DK Pittman, go for it. So anyway, there you go. Roundabout way. We figured it out. That's what I like. Yeah, Nick, what's up? Jackson Dart or Shadir Sanders this week? Oh my goodness. I got to go Dart. He's been great all season. It's amazing matchup against Washington. And yeah, I mean, Sanders has done, this and that, and he had a good week. But, that's we don't know. It's unpredictable. I know in the playoffs you got to take big risks. It's a big risk reward kind of a thing with hold on. With Sanders in general. I mean, it's kind of, there's a lot of unknown there. It's a pretty decent matchup. He had a great week last week, but see a couple weeks before, he just hasn't been good. He has one great week, and we're like, okay, let's anoint him as like a top option. And I don't think that that's such a bad idea to, use him as a plug and play when he's having a good matchup like he has this week. It's just Dart also has a good matchup. So I'm going to go with, unless you're like way behind and you're like needing some desperation, knock it out of the park play, and you just want to fucking go with the major upside of Shadir Sanders, then yeah, I'm going to stick with Jackson Dart on this one. So like, if you face the guy that's got Kyle Pitts, for instance, and you're like, fuck, I need to make a big move. All right, I could see going with Sanders, for the upside. But otherwise, Jackson Dart will get you, probably around the same amount of points, if not maybe a little bit more. But I think that he's got a slightly lower ceiling. But the thing is, like his floor, I think, is better. And his ceiling's not that much lower. So I'm going to go Jackson Dart on that one. Chris Rodriguez is out. Does Bill finally get his shot? Hey, why not? They've also got McNichols back there, right? He's fine. So, they could go with him too. But why would you? But I would see. Here's the thing. I'm saying, why would you not start Bill? Why not? But then you realize, oh, the OC there is Cliff Kingsbury. That's why not. The guy's a freaking moron. He hates our fantasy teams. He hates production on his own teams. I don't know, dude. The guy, I've been, me. I hate fucking Cliff Kingsbury. And that's been a major part of the problem. But this week, yeah, he's going to be his hand forced a little bit. Jeremy McNichols is going to get a little bit, but I think it could be, it's a great matchup against New York. I really think if you're going to start Bill, if you held on to him and you need him to flex him in there, I don't think he's a bad option. I think is also a good sneaky DFS option as well because you're going to get him on the cheap. So I would start him this week unless you have other, really good options. So can't believe I'm asking this, but Lamar or Dart in QB. I know, right? Well, okay. So Lamar had a 3-week slump. And what we can attribute that to is that he was having some issue with his ankle. Well, here's the thing, though. He obviously it's gotten better last week. He's going up against Cincinnati. He's going to want to kind of revenge game that, not revenge game as in he used to be on teams. We know that he wasn't. But what I'm saying is revenge for the loss a couple weeks ago. I think they're going to be on one this week. So but then again, Dart has a really good matchup. So I'm back to trusting Lamar. Okay. He had a few shit weeks, but he's, turning it around. His ankle seems to be better. He was nursing an issue there. Let me pull something up here to kind of illustrate what I'm saying. Give me just a minute. Bear with me if I sound a little gruff. I actually, my buddy Vinny and I, we went out to see Shane Gillis last night. I don't know. Probably some of you have heard of him if you love comedy. Shane Gillis, he's one of the more famous comedians right now. He kind of made his way into fame because he does a good Donald Trump impression. Well, it was a great show, but I'm my voice is kind of jagged. So I apologize if there's a little gruffness there. Anyway, good show, though. It was a lot of fun, obviously. So Lamar Jackson, of course, going up against Cincinnati, like I said. But look at something here. So last week, yeah, he had 7 rushes, 43 yards, and a touchdown. So he's getting his legs back under him. That's actually his best rushing production since week 1, honestly. And in his terms of yardage, at least since he's come back from injury. So that indicates to me that he's back on track. I like him. I'm going to give him the start over Dart. Little rhyme there. But yeah, I like Dart too. If you really, really are fucking, I don't know, I want it, I don't trust it, go ahead and go with Dart. It's going to be safe. You're safe either way. It's kind of like one of those, you have a good problem there, Matt. And, but I'm going to lean toward Lamar this week. Okay, space. Hey, guys, pick one flex, full PPR. Shakir, Dobbs, Booty, and Jones. I'm going with Shakir. Other than Dalton Kincaid, he's been the main target. In fact, let me get the actual numbers up for you. Yeah, I know it's been a little bit rough, but okay, just a couple weeks ago against Houston. Excuse me. He had 10 targets, 8 receptions, 110 yards. Last week, he only had 3 targets, 2 receptions, 16 yards. He got that touchdown, which is lucky. And that kind of saved his day. But the week before that, he had the 1 fantasy point. It's just, I get that it's inconsistent with Shakir, but he has been the go-to target when it hasn't been Kincaid. And I do think Kincaid's going to get a lot. Booty, it's just it's a fucking shot in the dark. It's been that way all season with the Patriots. You never know which one. Could it be the guy? Sure. And if you think he is, go ahead and play him. But there's no way to really tell. There's no tell at all. And it's kind of the same thing with Green Bay, although I think that Watson is clearly become the number 1 wide receiver choice there. So really, it becomes between Shakir and Jones. And the problem with Jones, first of all, of course, is that, he's losing a lot of touches to Jordan Mason and quality ones too. He still had 14 carries last week, which, you're not too afraid of. 14 carries, 76 yards. And, but he hasn't had a touchdown since week 10. He's only had 1 touchdown all season. so we can't depend on that. And Jordan Mason's I think, I'm pretty sure has more than that. Um, getting some updates here, but yeah, you know, I guess the safe bet in terms of like getting first, like guaranteed points, will be to start Aaron Jones. But upside wise, I do like Khalil Shakir. I think that it could be a good week for him. I'm starting him in a league that I have, like against that one guy that I said, like he started Kyle Pitts, but I got to make some moves in there. I'm actually sitting Rashee Rice because it's a bad matchup. Dude hasn't played well in bad matchups. I'm actually sitting him for Shakir. It's fucking crazy, but I got to make a move. That's what I mean. If I wasn't already behind the Kyle Pitts 8 ball, so to speak, I probably would stick with Rice, but I got to make that move. And I do think Shakir is going to have a good week this week. So I'm going to go Shakir on that one. If you want to go like safe, you're fine. Like maybe you have Pitts, or maybe it's just a matchup you think you can easily win. And you just kind of want to make sure that you get some points in there. Yeah, go Jones. But if you need that extra little oomph, I think Shakir is going to have a good week. Wide receiver, I have Sutton in. What's up, Matt? Just picked up Yoshevich. Thanks for that. Also have Sutton. Shake my head. Need one. PPR. Yeah. I have Sutton in. I also have Sutton. Wait. Okay. So did you mess up that one there? Let me know. But hold on. Sorry. Correction. I have Wilson in. Okay. So essentially Wilson, Sutton, or Yosevich. It's not going to be Sutton. I don't like his matchup this week. And I don't think I don't trust him this week. Wilson, he's got a bad matchup, but again, he's going to get peppered with targets. Who else is going to be out there for him? But Yosevich is interesting. Yoshevich is definitely an interesting prospect there because T. Higgins is out. Now, it could be like Gesicki has a good game. And, of course, Jamar Chase is going to get his, although he's going to get a lot of attention from the defense. So that's going to leave Yosevich open. And anytime that's happened, and that's been the thing, when Yosevich takes over for T. Higgins, it's been good. When he took over for Brown, not so much. He's taken over for T. Higgins. I actually like him. So it's between Wilson and Yosevich, and honestly, if you're really worried, and I see why, about Stingley kind of taking away Wilson's ability to get those targets that he has coming to him, then yeah, I mean Yosevich is a good fill in there. That's a tough one. Personally, if I'm looking at that, those options there, PPR, it's a tough one, but I guess I'm going to put in Yosevich for Wilson. But like I said, you might regret that, because even though Wilson's got a bad matchup there against Stingley, it's like he's going to get peppered with targets because there ain't no one else there. It's like McBride, but I mean, they could be, just like, Brissett could just be throwing it to everybody. And we'll see what happens, but yeah, I think Yosevich definitely has the opportunity to have a better game. So I'm going Yoshi on this one. No sound, says Paul. Are you sure? Is that true? Someone confirm or deny that. Because, I mean, I don't want to say that's weird if there's no sound. Hold on. All right. I just got a message that I sound fine. I hear you just fine. Paul, check your computer, Paul. All right. Kick a question. Wait, I'm going to answer your first one there first, Alejandro. What's up? Good morning, Mr. Meza. Good to hear from you. Oh, I got to do that later. All right. So Yosevich, likely Reed, Odunze, or Pollard, or Pierce. Pick two. I actually think Isaiah Likely could have a good game this week. I don't know if I'm putting him in as a flex. I'm definitely putting him in a tight end position. Reed, again, I think it's Watson right now for Green Bay. It's not a big matchup where I'm wanting to start a lot of extra Green Bay Packers this week. Vinny says I got sound. Everyone else says I have sound, Paul. I think something might be wrong with you there. It's okay. Maybe you got it fixed. So anyway, pick 2. I like Josevich. What's with you guys putting the L on that? It's an uppercase I. It's not an L. It's not a lowercase L. Josevich. I like Yoshi. And the thing with Odunze is that, like, starting off the season, it was like, oh, here we go. He's actually going to be, a good player. He's going to live up to his hype, et cetera, et cetera. But, I mean, let's look at the last fucking 4 weeks. 5 points, 6.8, 1.8, and a big old fucking donut last week. Donut. I mean, I know, like, he got hurt or whatever, but still, though. Because he still got a donut in week 9. He had a good week 10, a good week 8. But, like, yeah, I mean, if you look at it, he started off first 4 weeks, 12 points, 28 points, 13 points, 14.9. And I'm looking at, like, half-point PPR right now. So it was even better in full-point PPR. But, yeah, there's just no way I can trust Odunze. Not a chance. It's like him and Lad McConkey are sort of in my doghouse right now. So I'm not going to ask you to start him. Now, Pollard finally has a good game. And it's like, okay, is that the standalone fluke, or is he actually going to start fucking producing here? He had, big game, 28 fantasy points, 25 rushes, 161 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Are they really going to go away from that? I mean, here's the thing. They have nothing to play for. So they may as well see what they have in Pollard, and they're probably going to, so they could be running them a lot out there, and actually the Niners can be a little bit susceptible at times to running backs, but they have a pretty good defense overall. They're not going to be able to run too much. It's hard for me to say to, start Pollard. I definitely say Josevich there. Pierce, is so unknown because, we got Phillip Rivers in there. Dude hasn't played in like 5 years. If you're expecting some miracle Flacco shit, I don't know. We may not see that, at least for the first week. For the first week, I kind of want to wait and see with that. So I ain't starting Pierce on that one. So for me, it's Josevich in between Likely and Pollard, which is unlikely. It's a great matchup for the tight ends, both for Likely and for Mandrews this week. But after, what he did last week, 25 carries, 161 yards, and 2 touchdowns. How are you going to put that back in Pandora's box? The San Francisco defense is actually probably is a better matchup even than Cleveland. So I'm going to go with Josevich and Pollard on this one. Slight lean. If you really are feeling Likely, put Likely in instead of Pollard, because really it's kind of a coin flip for me between the two. But I'm going to give the slight lean toward Pollard just because, first of all, that's more guaranteed points. Second of all, after what he did last week, 25 carries, most he had all season. The second most he had was in week 2 when he had 20 carries. He hasn't had more than 16 carries at any other point after since then. And that was the next week in week 3. So out of nowhere, he's having this big, huge game. I don't think, I think at this point, they just kind of want to see what they have. So I think they're going to continue running Pollard. So give me Josevich and Pollard this week. Kicker question as well. Dicker or Myers? That's another really good problem to have. Those are some great, solid kickers there. Going against KC, they're going to need to score some points. Which means they're going to need to score some touchdowns. So it could be more of a mediocre game. You'll probably get like 9-10 points there. About Dicker will anyway. And then Myers. Oops. Hold on. Excuse me. Jason Myers has been on fire. Absolutely. I can't get away from him. So, yeah, I'm going to go Myers on this one just because, like, going up against KC, they're probably going to need to score a lot more to where they're going to need touchdowns more than, I mean, it's probably not going to be like, they're going to need to keep up. So, it's not going to be a bunch of, field goals. They're going to need touchdowns. I still think he's going to do all right, but Myers has just been dynamite this year. I'm not getting away from that for any reason other than an amazing matchup. And it's not an amazing matchup or situation for Dicker. So, yeah, give me Myers this week. I'm sorry. Stephen Grease or Grice. What's up? The Stephen Grease. Grease. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And I don't want to be messing up yet. I don't know what happened to my voice there. Anyway, hopefully I'm saying that right. If I'm not, correct me. Newest subscriber, by the way. I just got the notice. Thank you for your sub. And that, my friends, puts me at 700, I believe. Let me double check, unless one of y'all fucking left. There you go. Steven, you're number 700, and I thank you for it. All right. So let's get your question answered here. Need help with one of my running back spots and 2 flex spots in full PPR. Devin Neal, Addison, Dowdle, Hall, Walker, McConkey. All right, let's start off with your running back. And we're going with, let's see, we got Walker, Hall. I guess I'm going Breece Hall. Boom, right there, done. Just because I don't know. Hold on, let me bring something up here. I mean, I know it's against Jacksonville. They're pretty good against the run. He didn't have a great week last week. I don't know. I shouldn't probably just automatically start Hall. I'll give it a chance. Let me take a look here. That whole situation with the running backs for the Panthers, hey, maybe we're flexing that Panther. Maybe the flex Panther, by the way, I should light it back up, is working after all. However, we've been seeing the decline of Rico Dowdle because Chuba Hubbard's been, given more of an opportunity. I'm not going to trust Dowdle, when he's, 18 rushes for 58 yards. Sorry. Before that, 6 rushes. Now I know they're coming off a bye, and they could be readjusting things. So it's hard for me to trust that. Walker's been hard to trust because they keep splitting the carries between him and Charbs. Devin Neal, I like. It's a good matchup for him. So I'm going to go Devin Neal for your running back spot. And as far as the flex goes, like I said, McConkey's in the doghouse, Walker's in the doghouse, Dowdle, I don't know. Addison, so really for me, it's between Addison and Hall. It's a full PPR, which makes me lean toward Addison a little bit, just because of the fact that Hall it's a bad matchup. He hasn't been playing well late, although Addison hasn't broke double-digit fantasy points in over 6 weeks. So it's a tough one. I mean, I definitely go Neal, and then as far as your flex goes, it's hard to get away from Breece Hall because he's going to get the carries. He had 14, he's getting the carries. It was just a bad situation to match up last week. This week, yeah, I know it's also bad against Jacksonville. Oh, that's rough. That's a good question there. I'm pretty sure, Devin Neal, we're locked in at running back. As far as your flex goes, yeah, for me, it's like, do I take a chance on Addison? Is McConkey that much in the doghouse where I'm just going to not consider him? I'm going to go him against KC. I mean, they want to continue winning, and it's a big game for them. Like against KC earlier this season, it was a mediocre game. But last 3 games, 2.8 fantasy points, 11.9, 1.7. It's kind of actually been going back and forth. So you know what? Actually, in this kind of a matchup here, I can't believe it. I'm gonna go Ladd McConkey, Devin McNeil, and then flex in Ladd McConkey. If you want to go with the solid, like, okay, well, I'm gonna get some points at least, go with Hall or even Dowdle. But if you want some upside, go McConkey. So there's my answer for you. I would between Dowdle and Hall, I'm going to lean Hall, but between Hall and McConkey, I'm going to lead McConkey just for the upside, honestly. So there you go. Neal or Walker, PPR, it's Neal for me. Walker is just we haven't been able to trust him with Charbs coming in and out. Matt says Michael Wilson or Warren in the flex. I'm going to go Warren. I mean, that's off the bat. Of course, I'm going to look at it real quick, but just my gut feeling right off the bat, there's Jaylen Warren. And for good reason, too, because the guy's been solid this season. He's only had a couple games below double-digit fantasy points. I mean, he had 13 rushing yards, but it's like been the passing game. He had 3 receptions, 49 yards, and a touchdown last week. It's been consistent for him. He's been getting touchdowns. He's been, getting scores, been getting the ball pretty consistently. So I'm going to go with Jaylen Warren this week, other than Wilson, just because, like I said, I feel like he's still going to get enough targets to have a decent enough day, but I don't think Wilson's going to have a big day because of Stingley. So I'm going to go Warren on that. Still no sound, thanks. Anyway, Paul, there's got to be something wrong with your connection or something. There it is. Okay. Somehow we got that figured out. That's good. Hey, Scott, good morning. Hey, sorry about last week, with the comments. I got to you late on a few of those questions just because I wasn't getting notifications that anybody was commenting on that. So, I got a lot of different ways to get a hold of me. And in fact, starting next season, I'm going to put together probably a Discord server for people to ask questions on, so that when it's not here on the show, you have I have a backup way of doing it, and we can get a Discord community going for the Fantasy Kingdom. Why not? I like it. So I think we're going to start that up for next season. But anyway, let's get to your question here. And of course, anyone else, if you got some questions, go ahead and put them down there in the comments, and I'll get to them. I want to thank you all for, coming in and trusting me to help you through your big time. This is it. This is the big ones, the playoffs. You're at least vying for a playoff position, if not in the playoffs, trying to get through your first round. So anyway, Scott, good to see you. Christian Watson, Darius Slayton, Stephon Diggs, or Michael Pittman. PPR, we're flexing someone. Darius Slayton's a really interesting prospect because a lot of people are like, okay, it's just a great matchup for him. And it could be that Wandale's the one that gets it. But every time we expect Wandale to do a thing, it becomes Darius Slayton. So that's why it's like that's not actually a bad option. Pittman, I think, Pittman's a good option, but against Seattle, he could get shut down. That whole offense could get shut down. Seattle's got a great defense, I got to admit. I'm not a big Seattle Seahawks fan, as you know, representing, but, I can't deny the truth. They are a good defense. Stephon Diggs is the same problem with all the other Patriots wide receivers. We never know which guy it's going to be. So I'm kind of leaning toward Watson because of the less unknown. But again, we're in that kind of situation where you're in the playoffs and sometimes you just need to go home run on it. And I know it's not a great matchup for him, and he hasn't played as well in bad matchups. So actually I'm going to be kind of down on Christian Watson. Darius, that's a tough one. I'm probably leaning more because Pittman's got a bad matchup. Christian Watson's got a bad matchup. Stephon Diggs, the Patriots offense, it's a crapshoot on who's going to be the guy. I kind of think that Darius Slayton is a sneaky pick here. I really do. It's like bold and weird, and it could fucking blow up in your face because that's, but in the playoffs, dude, like 1 year in the playoffs, I had to start Washington Redskins, Kirk Cousins and Brashad Perriman on the fucking Bucks to win a championship against Matthew Berry of all people and Field Yates and all that whole crew. So sometimes you got to make bold fucking moves, bold ass moves. Wait, we're starting 2? Is this the same? Because it's the same groups, I'm guessing. So, okay, starting 2. Good. That makes it a little easier. We're going Darius Slayton and Michael Pittman. Simple as that. There we go. Start Isaiah Likely or Juwan Johnson, or start both over either Diggs, Dowdle, Jalen Warren, or Devin Neal. I'm not starting both over them at the tight end position. I'm going with Likely this week because, like I said earlier, I don't know if you're waiting for that, but with Juwan Johnson, the thing is Tyler Shuck has started to trust Olave and Vele and stuff. And there's been less targets there for Johnson. So Likely, on the other hand, he's on the uptick, and it's a great matchup. Facing Cincinnati, who's given up the most fantasy points, the tight ends. Likely has been kind of like the one, the 1B or sometimes the 1A the last couple of weeks with Mandrews. So I actually like Likely there. No worries about last week. Glad to see you feeling better. Appreciate your advice always. Hey, thanks, Scott. Yeah, it was a rough week last week. Like I kind of said, I didn't want to make the Tinker Stinker Power Hour that damn literal, where I'm the one tinkering and stinkering. Anyway, thanks for the well wish there. Tracy coming in here. Quentin Johnson, is he really out? As far as I know. Let's double check. For those of you still in here, if you got more questions, go ahead and throw them down there, and I'll answer those. Otherwise, I'll be getting out early. Hey, that's cool. You ever do that at work where you get all your work done and hey, you should go home early? Okay. Let me double check that for you though, Trace. Yeah, he's out. He is out, so make different plans. All right, Matt. Should I pick up Devin Neal, but would need to drop someone? Knight, Sutton, Swift, Wilson, or Mason? Here's the thing. I want to keep Jordan Mason in case Jones gets hurt. Because if that happens, boom, there you go. I'm definitely want to pick up Neal. And I'm not dropping Sutton, and I'm not dropping Swift, and I ain't dropping Wilson. So the question would be between Bam Knight and Jordan Mason. And like I just said, I don't like the idea of dropping Jordan Mason in case hold on, sorry, getting a message in there. Sorry, brain fart. The Aaron Jones gets hurt. So let me look at something real quick here. But obviously, you want to have somebody who's actually in there playing every week than something that's going to be a prospect. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Trey Benson. I don't know why they're not, I feel like they're not, there's some shit going on there that they're not telling us. I think it's kind of like in the same thing as Joe Mixon. It's just things are worse maybe than they thought. I don't know if he had a setback, but his season's over. And since he hasn't been activated, then what that means is, so they're going to stick with Bam Knight, and they're going to stick with Michael Carter. Now, the interesting thing is, and I'm going to bring this up here, Michael Carter. Let's take a look. It's been a kind of a split carry sort of situation. Carter's getting a little bit more action. Hold on, than he was a couple weeks, but it's really kind of a 1A, 1B sort of situation. But that last game of the season against Cincinnati could be money for him. That's a tough one. I kind of leaning toward Knight there. I like Devin Neal, and if I pull his stuff up, he's got a great schedule that rest of the season. So I'm gonna go Devin Neal over Bam. Hold on, let me go back real quick. If I start Neal, then Neal or Stevenson or Warren and flex. So one of those. So pick one if you go with Neal. I'm still going Warren. Although, wait a second. Let me look at something real quick because Devin Neal against Carolina. I think Carolina is a sneaky good defense to play this week. But they're very susceptible to the running backs. Looking at it here. Against Carolina, though, I mean, he only had 4 carries. 22, 3. Yeah, Devin Neal. Yeah, pick 2. Oh, well then I'm going Neal and I'm going Warren. So there you go. Simple enough. Think it's happened twice now where I'm like aggravating between 2 options and they're going, oh, wait, no, I need to start 2. And I go, well, there you go. There are your options. I already had it figured out. Dawn, eek, I napped. I'm late. We'll rewind when done. Yeah, I mean, other than like the stuff that I'm answering for people, for people, I appreciate the view and I appreciate the like and I appreciate everything else. We got another subscriber this week. This is great. I'm up to 700 subscribers. 700. We did it. We got there. Okay. Next step, we get 800. Let's do it. Damn, you the man. Thank you for all the help. Cheers. Good luck. I'll crush it. Like and subscribe to the TyRant. Yeah, thanks, Matt. And of course, let's do that. Dawn, you got a question though? If you have a question, throw it in there before I get out of here. Because I'm going to get out of here if there's nothing else. It's funny, like, so the weeks when I have like other like bonus content, I get bombarded with questions and I can't get to it. Then the times when I'm like, hey, you know what? It's the playoffs. People are just gonna have questions about the team. They don't give a shit about what I have to say. That's the week when people are just like, hey, what do you got? Let's see what you got. It's all right though. We all know Reichel's gonna come in here in like the next 2 minutes and fucking, give me some last second shit. But if he doesn't get in here in the next minute or 2, I'm going to leave and he's going to be like pissed off and he's going to message me and be like, hey man, he'll message my ass at 9:50 fucking 9. And I'm not kidding too. He's a buddy of mine, so I can give him shit. But anyway, hey, we got some more questions here. So we're going to get into it. What's up, Richard? Just woke up this morning. Yeah. Good morning. Eagles defense or Raiders or Jags defense versus Eagles defense versus the Raiders or Jags defense. I'm going Eagles. Eagles all the way. Love it. Reed Packers wide receiver Sutton. I guess I'm going Sutton. I mean, it's not a great matchup, but I think he'll get better than Reed. So I'm going Sutton on that one. I don't like either. No real question. Letting it ride and see others ask questions. I had interest in, hence I'll rewind. Hey, thanks, Don, and I appreciate all your support. It's great. Let's go back up here. We got Abbas from Tula, 3405. If I somehow got that right, let me know, because that's amazing if I got that right. And if I didn't, I apologize for, butchering the fuck out of that, which I assume I probably did. But 20, hold on. Oh, shit. I got to do that later. Okay. I'm getting all kinds of messages here in all kinds of ways. Okay, Boswell or McPherson, kick a question. Both have been pretty solid this season. So it's not like, So at that point, with kickers, really, it just kind of comes down to if they're both having a good season, just kind of go with what I think is going to be the best matchup. Which is the game that they kind of going to want to score a lot of points in. It's going to be more fast paced. And in this situation, give me a second, pulling up some stuff. In this situation, I kind of like Evan McPherson. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, a couple weeks ago against Baltimore, dude scored 24 fantasy points. 24 as a kicker. I'm not saying he's doing that again, but I can't sit him against the same team that he did that against. So, yeah, I'm definitely going McPherson. Oh, here we got there. Okay. So, no real question, blah. Warren or Judkins, standard Judkins. Just sticking with it. He's been good. Solid showing. Chris Boswell, Evan McPherson. Definitely McPherson, like I said. Okay. And then we're going to end on this question here, unless one gets in while I'm rambling. Jags D or Texans D today? Well, Nick, I know that you're going to want you want to go with the Texans, and that might not be the bad choice this week. I mean, well, most weeks I'm like, yeah, let's go Houston all the way. I've been big on them as I was bigger on them to start the season on defense than a lot of other analysts were. So I like Houston. I think going up against Arizona, it's a good matchup. Rest of the season, obviously, you're sticking with Houston. They got great matchups, great schedule going rest of the season. Yeah, that's a tough one because I think both of them have really, like, Jags have a great matchup. Let me pull that one up real quick. Against the Jets, which actually comes into the next question because Chris Cody's up in here with a question. I like it. This week is not bad. Then, like, the next couple weeks, Jacksonville, I would not start. For the upside and for, general and for keeping them, for rest of the season. But you're just talking about this game. You probably could, go back and forth. You might have both teams. So this week, even considering that, I'm saying this week, I'm going with Houston. Going Houston this week. I really, honestly, you're looking at 15 points either way. Pick your favorite, and your favorite's the Texans, so go with it. Why not? But on the other hand, it's more likely that the Jets have a bad game. So, gun to my head, I guess I'm saying the Jags, but it really is. I think you're going to get 15 points either way. That's really how I feel. So lean with your gut. My gut says Jacksonville. What does yours say? If yours says Texans, go with it. I know that's a tough, it's just, like I said, I think they're right around the same. I know it's kind of a cop out, but that's the way it is. What up, TyRant? Do we start any Jets receivers today? Nah. I mean, is there going to be one that's going to be worth a start? Probably. But 2020 is, hindsight is 2020. And we don't have hindsight right now, so I have no idea. So I ain't starting any because you can't rely on it. Beat the Bogs. Fuck yeah. This dude's in I do an Always Sunny league. Like, it's a free league, but I just get a bunch of Always Sunny in Philadelphia friends that I know. If you haven't seen the show, what has your head been under a fucking rock? Go see that show. It's amazing. But so it's all themed. Like, we all have names that are related to Always Sunny, and I set up challenges each week that are related and stuff. It's fun. I make a lot of fun. But yeah, beat the Bogs. Also, start Bill with C-Rod out. Forgo Vidal in a split with Hampton. Bill. So you're saying to start Bill with, or go Vidal splitting with Hampton. I like Bill over Vidal. I think Hampton's going to get even more this week. So yeah, I like to start with Bill. Hey, here we go. To Bill Krosky. Yeah, the best damn running back in the office. His poop is considered currency in Argentina. Bill Krosky. Ho, 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 TyRant Gang. What's up? Erica, you got a question? Because I'm about to head out if you don't. But I do love that you came in and said good morning. Because I love seeing that smile. You know that? It brightens up my day. Knicks or brisket? Nick's a brisket. Yup. Here's the thing. Bo Nick's going up against the Packers. It's not a good matchup for him. He hasn't really been lighting it up much past 5 weeks. He hasn't broken 20 fantasy points since week 8. Week 8 was the last time. That was against the fantasy football point fiesta of Dallas. Now, you're going to get some better weeks, especially next week against Jacksonville. I think Bo Nix is a good option. This week, though, I'm looking at, between 15 and 20 points. I think 20 is kind of his ceiling. 15 is the floor. I think that, he's always going to get you a solid amount. So it's never like the worst play ever. But Jacoby Brissett against Houston, that is a tough one. Although he's just been so solid, so he's getting like 20 fantasy points every week. But this is the toughest defense he's faced. That's why it's such a big thing. Did you talk about Mariota yet? I'm going to roll with him, and now I am between Sutton and Wandale. Wandale Robinson on that one, just because I think Sutton is going to see is a bad matchup for Sutton. Wandale, great matchup. I'm going with Wandale between those two. Mariota, if you got him, I would actually start Mariota over both Nix and Brissett this week. But if I'm going just between Nix and Brissett, I got to stick with Brissett just because, he's been so damn solid and consistent. Although I think you're not getting over 20 fantasy points with either one. You're getting between 15 and 20 fantasy points. And so it's a slight edge to Brissett this week. But like I said, if you can get Mariota, I'd say get Mariota. If you can afford to drop someone else, drop someone else. I don't know if I'm dropping Nix or Brissett. Brissett's got an amazing championship matchup. So I like keeping both of them. So if I have to choose between one of them, then yeah, I'm going with Brissett barely. And then Mariota, I would definitely pick over both of them if that's an option for you. And I said between Sutton and Wandale, I'm going Wandale. All right, so that's it. Hey, we're getting out of here on time. Love you all, and good luck this week with your playoff push. I'm gonna be back next week. Even if something's fucking up with me in my stomach, I'll do the damn show from the toilet. I ain't fucking missing another one. I know this is big. I know this is the playoff push. I know that it is big time for y'all. And even if like the show's gonna get less viewers because a lot of people get knocked out of playoffs, hey, I'm gonna keep those of you who are watching this show. I'm gonna keep you in. So come back with me. Come back next week, next Sunday. Take a Stinker Power Hour. I'm going to be here. All right? Good luck this week to you all. Get those fucking playoff wins. Get into the playoffs if you're playing in for one. And, yeah, come back next week. Wait a minute. Oh, here we go. Peace out, everyone. Good luck. Except all you Kyle Pitts owners. Yeah, for all you Kyle Pitts owners, go fuck yourself. No, just kidding. Especially you, Robert, asshole. I know he's not watching, but I'm facing him in 2 leagues, and he's got Pitts in both those leagues. And both for playoff spots. I'm going to get knocked out of the playoffs by that motherfucker. Thanks a lot. Peace, hope, joy, and win. Hey, yeah, you too. Happy holidays to everyone. We're going to continue this next week. The playoffs, we're here. Let's all do it. To everybody, let's get your playoff wins, folks. Yeah, win it all. Let's crush it. All right. Thank you all for another good week. And we'll see you next week for the Week 16 edition of the Tinker Stinker Power Hour. Until then, I'm out. Peace.